Welcome to All Things Everything, presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo,
I'm Sabrina.
and this is episode 1. I mean, how do you feel? We started a podcast. We have a podcast set up and everything. It's pretty cool.
It's finally done.
Yeah, I know.
We rushed to get the room done, and then we waited.
I mean, it is what it is. Kind of wanted to be as perfect as we can with everything. We're a little bit, I think we go overboard on that sometimes. Everything needs to be perfect. It has to be the best episode ever, but we kind of just talked about it. We're like, look,
It's time.
it's probably not, it's not that it's going to be bad. It's just, it's not going to be what we wanted to right off the bat, and that's okay. Let's just do it. We have to start. If we don't start, we're never going to start. So let's just get right into it. So we have some notes, and that's really the way that we're going to kind of break this podcast down. For everybody that doesn't know, Sabrina is my wife, and she is the better half of Gulf Coast Smoke. That's really why I wanted to start this podcast. I want people to kind of know who she is, know what she does. A lot of you guys see me on camera every single time, right? I'm the face that you see. I go and I'm the one that's competing, but realistically, she's right there with me every single step of the way. She films, she edits, she helps out tremendously when it comes to the competitions. If you guys saw our last video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago, she basically prepared everything for our competition the whole week prior to the competition, and she's just amazing. She's really, really supportive when it comes to this dream. I think in the beginning, I don't necessarily think it was your dream, but I think it's kind of getting there now, right?
Right. So, I grew up cooking and loving food and expecting I was going to do something with food, but
Yeah.
the funny thing is I don't really do much with the food
Yeah.
or as much as you do
Yeah.
in the business.
And that's the funny part that people kind of don't even know, is that you actually cook really good. Like, you cook way better than me. You went to culinary school. You used to be a pastry chef. You used to work in a bakery. Like,
I never finished, though.
yeah, I mean,
Just a semester away from finishing.
yeah, I know. But,
Just so no one calls me out.
well, that's because we decided we wanted to have kids. We just, I don't know, our lives were, I don't know if we did it we did it the right way. We did it the way we wanted it to, but you were close to finishing. We decided we wanted to have kids, and you never finished, but you could go back if you wanted to. And anyway, a semester away from finishing culinary school, you cook really good. You know a lot when it comes to technique compared to me. But
I learned more about food from watching you barbecue.
yeah,
I didn't know much about internal temperatures and all that stuff. So,
yeah,
I learned more now
yeah,
than I did before.
yeah. Well, it's just, like I said, it's the biggest part of this podcast is to bring you in and just let people know who you are and what you do. And then also to give them like a real life experience of who we are. And that's kind of why we made the podcast room the way we made it. A lot of people probably have no idea that we love Pokemon.
Yeah.
We've been dating, well, we're married now, but we've been together for over 12 years. And that whole span, we've always collected Pokemon cards. Before that, we collected them individually. And that's like one of our things. And unfortunately, we spend way too much money on Pokemon cards, but it is what it is.
Spent enough,
Yeah, I know.
unfortunately.
We probably, there's been times where we could have spent more, and I think we should have, but
Should've.
we didn't.
Should have got that Charizard.
I know. It was only like $2,500 back in the day
Yeah.
when we first started looking, and we were just little kids working at HEB. We still don't have much money, but we definitely had no money at the time. So, but yeah, we're super passionate about Pokemon because of our upbringing, right? It was just something that I did with my parents, you did with your parents. Of course, I love the San Antonio Spurs. You see it right behind me. We love anime. Of course, we love to barbecue. So, that's really, this room's a representation of who we are and what we love. The only thing you don't see in this room that we love tremendously is our family. We have 3 beautiful kids, and one of them's asleep right now. That's why we figured we'd jump on the podcast.
Good timing.
And our other 2 right now are watching a movie in the living room. And that's the thing with our podcast, right? There might be times when one of the kids comes to the door and, Mom, I need something. Dad, I need something.
They were already asking.
I know.
Should we knock?
I know.
Should we text you?
They were overthinking it. They're like,
Do we need snacks?
what if something happens, Dad? I'm like, Henny, you're overthinking it, baby. It's like, you're going to be okay. You do everything, not by yourself, but she's able to do pretty much everything.
Right.
And now she's so worried about it. But, if we don't get on topic, I think we can just kind of talk all day. So some of the things that we wanted to talk about was introducing ourselves, and I think we pretty much did that. Another thing that we wanted to talk about was just how everything began. In your eyes, how do you think Gulf Coast smoke came to be what it is.
I mean, I know we talk about this a lot that I come from a family who we barbecued a lot on the weekends, but it wasn't necessarily about the barbecue. It was just about, get-togethers and having people over and having fun. Um, and then early on while we were dating, just come over to my house with my sister and her husband now, and we would barbecue and stuff.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every day if we could.
Yeah. For me, though, I think it really started when we moved into this house,
For sure.
because that's when when you're living with somebody, we're all cooking for everybody, and we're not really thinking about, oh, this is what I want to eat tonight. This is what I want to cook. And then, we move into our house, and it's like, I think I want to grill something. I want to smoke a brisket. I want to make some ribs.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much right on par with that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and give you like that perfect story, right? Like, oh my gosh, I was 3 years old and my dad was smoking the most amazing brisket in his restaurant, and he told me,
coals.
yeah, he told me, son, I gotta go. You take over, son. And at 3 years old, I made the perfect brisket. That's just not true.
You just wanted good barbecue.
Yeah, I will say this though, like we loved when my dad cooked, right?
Oh,
but my dad also cooked a way different style of barbecue.
Mine as well.
Yeah, so I mean, not that this necessarily matters so much, but I'm Hispanic and we live in South Texas, and I do think the barbecue here is typically very, very different. So like my dad would just cook over coals, everything, pork ribs,
Right.
beef ribs,
Or was it
fajitas.
2 zones and
Yeah,
smoke
no,
zones, so
no. I mean, like,
throw it on there.
well, I was about to say tortillas, but the tortillas, I got roasted for saying tortillas in one of our videos.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know, right? The tortillas, my dad feels weird saying it. My dad would just throw them on the grill, and sometimes they were burnt, sometimes they were perfect, and that's just the way that we grew up. And we moved into this house, and funny, right? We started YouTubing, like, how do we make a better brisket? Because you have a story about a brisket you tried to make when you lived with your parents still.
Yeah, like I said, we didn't know anything about 2 zones and smoking low and slow. Like, I never really watched my dad, cook the brisket, right? I just figured you put some lighter fluid, start those coals, and throw it on there. I remember it was wrapped in foil, and it was just the flat, the trimmed flat you can get from H-E-B. It wasn't even a whole brisket.
Yeah.
And we assumed probably need to put it on for like 12 hours, and it was a brick. The foil was stuck to it, and
I mean,
it was a direct 12-hour flat brisket.
I know, but yeah, I mean, we started YouTubing ourselves, right? I will always remember one of the first videos that I saw that really, really got me into barbecue is how to barbecue right. Malcolm Reed literally starts the video off. Today we're talking spare ribs. Like, that is one of the most epic videos I've ever seen. And he was sitting down in his kitchen, and I'm sure it was his wife filming, and they just made some delicious looking ribs. I think it was for Memorial Day or Labor Day or something like that. He was teaching people how to make ribs. So we ended up making those ribs exactly the way he made them. And they turned out amazing. And then we were just hooked from there. I mean, I had a Weber kettle. I bought, I think, a Rec Tech. Then my dad gave us a custom offset for a housewarming gift. And we just, I mean, to see where it's come now, it's kind of insane. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. When we got this house is when it really started. We got, I don't want to say serious. I still don't even think we're serious, but we got really, really into trying to perfect barbecue. And I don't think there's any way to do that, but I also think that's what makes it super duper fun.
Yeah, and I mean, even though we're in Texas, there's really not many barbecue places here where we live. There's a little more now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, there wasn't many places to go get good brisket and ribs, so
we wanted to cook it.
You either travel or you figure out how to make it on your own, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and so just kind of fast forwarding, we've been in this house for what, almost 8 years or something?
Oh gosh, 2017, so 6?
Yeah, so almost 7 years. We've been in this house almost 7 years, and I think we started Instagramming, but it was like we were not taking it seriously at all. Like, we would cook fajitas and we would just snap a picture, didn't play it, didn't do anything, and we would just post it on Instagram.
Well, what really started it was the what was it, the Traeger?
Oh yeah, the Traeger game day.
Yep.
the Traeger game day really got us into it. This was, this had to have been like 3 years
A
ago.
long time ago.
And
We didn't even have a Traeger.
Yeah, we didn't even have a Traeger. So we were like cooking everything on a Rectech, but we would never take any pictures on the grill and that was actually really fun. That really was fun. I thought
It was like a weekly competition kind of, right?
Yeah, it was a weekly competition where basically they had different, I think it was different proteins or maybe different cooks all together, and
Different themes. Like one week was like tater tots.
Oh yeah, you're right. And we entered every week, and we never won or anything, but I think that's when we started realizing like, hey, this is really fun. Social media is pretty fun, especially when you get a picture that at that time it was only pictures. There was no shorts, there was no reels, anything. It's like, it was just cool. And we had one, I think, that got like a lot of likes and a lot of views and a lot of clicks and stuff. I think that was the one where we made like the little football field.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And we ended up not winning anything, which again, that's completely cool, but that really is where we started. And also shout out to our friend Sebastian, Barbecue Fiends. He really pushed me to start doing social media because we love to cook, and him and I would send pictures back and forth all the time. And he's like, dude, just start an Instagram, bro. Like, you don't ever know. You'll never know unless you try. So shout out to him. Really, if he wouldn't have pushed me, I don't know if we would have started at all, or maybe we would have started, but just later.
Right.
So, and then fast forward to today, obviously our YouTube channel is growing daily, which is amazing to see. We do put in a lot of work. We talk about it all the time. I think we could do more, but
fast forward into now we have our own season.
Yeah, that's true. Of course that's a gigantic.
Well, we got really into seeing other products and seeing, okay, well, this one has something I like, but it's not everything I like. This one has some other stuff I like, but it's still not everything I like. So then we just kind of
try to make our own. And I think, man, back in the day, I was a huge fan of Plowboy's Yardbird. That was like my all-time favorite.
Chupacabra.
Yeah, Chupacabra, steak rub, all-time favorite. Then I got really into Killer Hogs products, AP, the barbecue rub, hot barbecue rub, the steak rub. To this day, it's killer. We love that. We use it all the time. And it's one of those things where it's kind of hard. You're like, man, maybe we should make a steak rub, but his is so delicious. And, we love that. We love those products. There's so many great products out there. Meat Church, Swine Life, Postal Barbecue, believe it or not.
Very good seasonings. I like.
His are up there with some of my favorite of all time. And I'm not just saying that to like be nice or anything. His are amazing rubs. If you guys have never tried those out, you have to. His chicken rub it's got flavor on it that's unlike anything I've ever tasted, truly. But of course, you can't go wrong with, the tried and true Chupacabra, Meat Church, Killer Hogs, Swine Life, and of course, I think we're there, and that's exactly why we started doing it. I don't think we're better than any of those guys at all, but I do think that we have a good product, and I think that there's enough room at the dinner table. I say this all the time. There's enough room at the dinner table for everybody to eat. What I mean by that is like all of our seasoning companies can coexist. It's like when you go to HV, right? Like there's 50 brands of pickles. They're not mad at anyone else for having a brand of pickles. There's different brands of pickles. They all taste different, and they're all delicious. You can go get any of those pickles, and I'm going to eat them. Depends on the day, Depends on the time.
Not the kosher ones.
Not the kosher ones. Don't ever give me the kosher pickles. I do not like kosher pickles. I don't know what it is. But yeah, so products, that's a big thing. And then of course, now we're active as heck on YouTube, and we post weekly. We try and post really good content. We're trying to do competitions. We're trying to do recipes. Of course, now we're going to be doing podcasts, so that'll be a second video per week that we'll have every single week. And yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I've told people that I know really well on a personal level that I never, from the bottom of my heart and soul, never thought we would even get 100 subscribers. And I'm not even trying to just be like funny about it. I truly never thought that. Because I understand how hard it is to do this, right? And I'm not trying to like toot our own horn, but it is hard. You have to
Right.
learn. You have to evolve. Like, go back and look at our first video ever. It was awful,
Not good.
not good. But and you go back to our last one, you could probably find some issues there too. It's hard.
A couple of years down the road, we'll be saying, nitpicking.
Yeah. I mean, I
Monster
think
Truck,
I
yeah.
think we always will. I think we always will because I think. Well, I mean, I think if you don't, then you're just never gonna
You're not
get
gonna
good.
grow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're never gonna get good. So, yeah, I mean, but it's been fun. It's frustrating sometimes. It's hard. I still have a day job, so I go to work, and some days, I'm outside half the day. I come home, and I don't want to go outside and cook, but I mean, we have to. It's just for the greater good, or so we hope, right? But yeah, I mean, anything else? Am I missing anything else? Like, how did it all begin? Of course, talk about where we're at now. Of course, we have our products, and like I said, we're posting a lot, and we're hoping that the later half of 2023 and early 2024 is really good for us. We have some things that we won't really talk about here, but like we have some things planned that I think will be really cool. We have some opportunities that are coming up maybe, and I think we just keep going. But
Well, we talked about like the end of last year,
mhm.
the beginning of this year, that competition wasn't really something we were interested in doing.
At all.
I mean, so it's funny, just in the short amount of time, it's become a big thing
Yeah, for sure.
for what we do.
Yeah, and it's funny because I tell people all the time, and it's almost like they don't believe it. It's not that they don't believe you, but they look at you and they like kind of like roll their eyes. They're like, yeah, okay, I'm so sure. But the truth is, like, we never wanted to compete. We had no aspirations. We made seasonings for backyard cooks. Our original 3 don't have MSG in them. We weren't worried about that pop of flavor. We would do competition videos every once in a while, like competition ribs, but they were super duper basic. Like,
Right. We wanted the competition feel, but for the backyard cooker.
yeah, I mean, butter, brown sugar, honey in the ribs,
Nice color. And
nice color, wrap them, whatever, get them super tender. But, and honestly, I can't even really think about the moment where we decided we were going to compete, and that what really made us take this to the next level.
going and doing well in one thing and then doing terrible in the other.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta
Well,
go back and try again.
I will say this. I think the first competition that we went to this year, it was in Sinton. And I think that we went to that one strictly because it was in Sinton. It was right next to us.
Close to home, yeah.
Super close to home. And we're like, yeah, might as well. Why not?
Right.
We're right here. Didn't practice really. Went over there and we cooked the best barbecue in the history of man, according to ourselves, right? And we ended up not doing very well. And it's just funny because we've learned so much about competition barbecue in a short amount of time. I mean, basically half the year we've already done like 10 contests, maybe more. I don't know.
Something like that.
So basically every month
Enough
we're
to-
doing,
Enough that I can't remember.
yeah, basically every month we're doing minimum 1.
Right.
Minimum. One I think we did 3 in 1 month one time, which that's like, dude, I don't know how these people do it because it's hard.
Right.
Also, I mean, we have 3 kids, so to try traveling and doing stuff with them, it's just hard. It's just really hard. But yeah, we ended up getting our butts handed to us that weekend. And there was a promoter walking around. He's like, hey, man, we're going to be right back here next week. Same exact spot. IBCA, this payout. I don't even care about the payout. Even right now, like, I don't care about the money. I just want to go over there and win, which we still haven't done yet. We've RGC'd once, but I'm chasing that win. And the reason we really got into it and we started competing was because we wanted to prove that our products are good.
Right.
And we know they're good. We know that when we cook barbecue, there's a great flavor on it because of our seasonings. Competition
There's a whole other
barbecue,
market out there.
for sure. It's a whole other market, and I'll tell you what, I think we've done a great job of reaching out to those people and getting a lot of different people to try our seasonings, like, just for the sake of, I don't know if they want their names named or whatever, but so I won't say anything, but I know some very good cooks that are using our seasonings now, like very good cooks. We have some very good cooks that just hit a first place brisket the other day. They told me they seasoned brisket exactly the same way I do, which is that base, Southern Belle, and Southern Hospitality on top. It's just a good combination. Like I said, there's a bunch of great seasonings out there. I just think we're there with them, and that's just the way I feel. And it excites me to see other people using our stuff. Like it's super exciting. So it's just one of those things, you keep going, you keep grinding, and you hope that it all works out. But yeah, I mean, kind of back a little bit. We got our butts handed to us. Then we went the next week, and I actually reached out to Mark Williams, Swine Life Barbecue. Well, Swine Life now. He dropped the barbecue from the end. And I talked to him, and I was like, dude, because I would consider us friends now, for sure. Mark and I talk a lot, and we've had some pretty long conversations on the phone about competition barbecue, about content, everything. So shout out Swine Life, really good dude. I told him, I was like, dude, my brisket was fire. I promise, bro. I promise. I knew it. It was the best ever, whatever. And he just told me two things that really made me think differently about competition barbecue. He didn't tell me to use a different wood. He didn't tell me to use a different brisket or anything. He just told me two things, which, again, out of respect for him, I'm going to keep that to myself. But we went from having a pretty horrible brisket, placing-wise, to the very next week in the same exact location, hit a first-place brisket, and at that point, I was hooked. Right. That first-place brisket felt insane. My heart was racing. It's almost weird. You don't even think you can care about something that much because, the competitive side of your life is pretty much over, right? Like, I used to golf. I used to play baseball, football, that stuff.
As an adult, like what?
Yeah. Like what gets you going, right? What gets those juices flowing? And for us right now, it's barbecue. So we like it. We're appreciative of it. And we respect the game. And I think we just keep going. I mean, I can't promise we're ever going to get a GC, but if we keep doing what we're doing, I'm sure we'll be in the mix every once in a while. And hopefully we become strong competitors, and, that'll kind of be it. But, I mean, do you have any thoughts on, like, where we're at now? Anything that I'm missing?
I mean, really, we're just trying to up the quality of our content. Mm-hmm. We definitely want to keep putting out shorts. A lot of people like that, but I mean, YouTube is like, that's our baby. Like we really try to put a lot of effort
into long form.
Right.
It's weird because I do think that everything is going towards shorts, reels, TikToks, and for us, it's just not what we enjoy. Right? I mean, at least right now, it's not that we don't enjoy it, but there's just something about doing a long form video and seeing it come to life. It's just like you have an idea, you produce it, you go out, you execute, then you turn around, you edit it, and then you're able to put your own spin, your own flavor on it. It just feels really good.
Right.
So for those of you that don't know, I used to edit our videos up until last October. And so it's been a long time since I've edited anything, almost a full year now.
Right.
But, I mean, it was like there was nothing for me like finding that perfect piece of music that goes with what you're doing. And it just like, you're able to put some super cool B-roll together and you're just like, wow.
Right. Oh, there's a lot of times where I'm editing and I, go through my song selections and I find one that feels right and, drag it on there and somehow it matches up with
perfectly
the clips you've already got on there.
Yeah, it's like
or the sounds or the motions. Like our last video, the awards.
Yeah, whenever
people are high-fiving and the parts of the music are going along with that.
Yeah, well, even when Penelope was like with her hands, right. It was just like the song started off and it like went with the beat of her hands, and it was
right.
It's just cool. It's just cool being able to do that. We can of course do that with shorts as well. So we need to focus on those, and we know that. So we'll hopefully be putting a lot more shorts out.
But other than our content, I think we're definitely trying to add more products.
For sure.
I think it would be really awesome to get into, competition type products like the injections, the brines. And it's funny because it's like, how do you when you get a bottle of that or a bag of that and you look at these ingredients and you're like, how did they even think to put these things together, right?
Yeah.
I think it's easier now that we've gotten into making our own seasonings. It's like, oh, well, that doesn't seem that hard. Just
Yeah.
flavors you like. And
Yeah, and for those of you guys that don't know, Sabrina and I, every single seasoning that we've put out, we actually 100% make those in our kitchen first. We test them on barbecue, and then we'll go to our co-packer and we'll say, hey, we have this recipe. Let's see what it tastes like when we commercialize it, because
Right.
everything does change, right? If you guys are ever going to get into making seasonings, think about that, right? So you make a small batch at your house. It tastes perfect, tastes delicious. You send that same exact recipe off to somebody that's making it on the scale of like 500 pounds now. It just tastes so different. So it is something to think about, and it's something that we pride ourselves on right now. Every single one of our products, we 100% put the recipe together by ourselves, tested it out, had friends, family taste the flavors, make sure they liked it, make sure it's something they would buy before we put it out there. Like that base, that one, for whatever reason, took us a long time, over a year to get
And
done.
also, I mean, there's lots of things we're working on, right? And
Yeah.
and it's like, well, which one do we want to go with first? And so I think
Yeah.
we're a little hesitant of, well,
Yeah.
people want to see an all-purpose seasoning.
Yeah. I mean, I
Right.
think we didn't know the answer, but I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's turned around and
Yeah.
it's our best seller. I mean, people love it. We got people buying 10 at a time sometimes, which is
Our
kind of
kids
crazy.
love it
Yeah, our kids love it.
a little too much.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, just on that, we already have other seasonings that are ready to go right now. It's just, do we release more seasonings? Do we keep trying to work on a sauce? Sauce is so hard. We've talked about it so many
Right.
times. Sauce is hard, but do we focus on a sauce? Do we focus on brines? Do we focus on injections? I mean, I think the sky's the limit, but right now, at least from my point of view, we're focusing on creating good content and continuing to grow the YouTube channel, which I think we've done a pretty decent job at.
And what would you say your goal is as far as subscribers, or how big you want the channel to be
In general, or like this year?
in general?
I mean,
Well, both.
yeah, I think by the end of the year. So I think right now we're really close to 30,000 subscribers on our channel. And I know it might sound crazy, but I think we can get to 50 by the end of the year. I mean, I want at least 1 million. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's crazy because our channel still feels so small,
For sure.
but it also doesn't feel so small. I don't even know how to explain it. Our channel feels small. I think we make pretty good content. And I don't think it's the best ever, but I think we make pretty good content. Our content is like, it's very non-viral though, for the most part. Like, we don't make videos that have the huge possibility of going viral, my opinion. We make videos where like our kids are running around and you can hear them in the background, and I'm at a barbecue competition and my son's like running around grabbing my wife's leg, like where we're trying to slice a brisket, which we're like, dude, you're gonna get hurt. We want to, one of us is gonna get hurt. Please stop. But at the end of the day, like, that's just what our life really truly is, and that's what we're trying to do. I would rather not make it doing something that's not genuine to who we are
Right.
than, like, this is, again, we're not faking one part of this. Like, we have 3 kids that we take everywhere with us. We were talking about it with Penny the other day. It's been 7 years, right? Over 7 years, almost 8 years that we've had her. And like, me and you have probably gone on less than 10 dates since then. And that's completely fine with us, right? We're still happy. I love being with the kids. And there's going to be a day when they don't want to be hanging out with us anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, just, I like to take advantage of every part. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, these dang kids, man, go to the other room or something. But, I mean, I love having them around.
Yeah,
Right.
we went to one competition where they left halfway through and it just wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. It was like, I thought it was going to be so amazing. Like, I didn't have to worry about them or anything, but I did not like it at all. And I literally told the kids, I was like, you guys are never not going to a competition again.
Right.
Because it just felt off. Like, I would much rather them be making our trailer so hot because they want to. Gosh, the trailer gets
They
so
want to sit at the door with their legs hanging out.
dude, oh my gosh. And that's because no lie, like our trailer gets really cold, and we put a mini split on it, and they'll just open it like 50 times, and then it's so hot, and you're like, dude, there's no way. It is uncomfortable in here now. I'm trying to slice, and I'm sweating, but I mean, man, that's our kids, right? It doesn't matter. It's our kids. I would, I want them there every single time, But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think that's my goal. I mean, I definitely want at least 1 million. I know it sounds crazy. People might be thinking like, man, you're never going to get there. That's all right. I mean, I promise you there's people that never even thought we would get here, or
Yeah.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. We're doing this for us. You know?
Mhm.
I mean, speaking of which, like, what is your motivation for doing this, right? Like, do you have your reason why you want to do this?
I mean, so kind of like we talked about earlier, I mean, I always thought I would do something with food, but,
Yeah.
you know, when you have kids, your goals and your plans kind of change. And like, to me, all of this is not just because like, oh, I love food.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, it's just a family thing. I love that you're passionate about this.
Yeah.
I love helping any way I can.
Mm-hmm.
A big thing is that we want a life with our
Yeah.
kids, spend as much time with our kids as
For
we
sure.
can.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do that if you're working
Yeah.
a day job. If I were working, if
Yeah.
the kids were going to school,
Yeah.
there's just what time do you have left
Yeah.
to spend with each other? And that's a big thing, is we want to spend as much time as we can with each other.
Yeah.
So with our business, to be our own boss
Mhm.
would give us more freedom, more time. It's not necessarily about more money.
Yeah.
Money helps. I mean, whoever says it doesn't
Yeah.
is just lying to themselves.
Sure. I mean, it's so necessary.
Right. But the goal isn't to, be famous YouTubers. The goal
Yeah.
isn't to have millions of dollars. The goal is just to give ourselves a life where we can actually spend
Yeah.
more time with each other and have more time
Yeah.
with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've told you this, and I've told a lot of people this. Well, maybe not a lot, right? But I tell people this, like, I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing time.
Right.
I'm chasing time with my family. I'm chasing time with my kids, and I'm chasing freedom, right? I know that sounds so, even when I say it, right, it sounds so like you're chasing freedom, really? Like you're not free? That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, like, right now, I have a day job where I have to wake up at 5:30 every day. I have to go to work. I'm told when I can eat lunch. I'm told when I can leave for the day. And then I get home and, it's sometimes I'm late. Sometimes I miss stuff. I miss ballet, whatever. And
So dinner, shower, go to sleep.
yeah, dinner,
the next day.
shower, go to sleep. Dinner, shower, go to sleep. And I'm not here to say that that's bad, right? It's not what we want.
Right.
And I'm sure that there's so many people in the world that also want something different. I think it's very normal. I think there's a bunch of people in the world that want this, or not this. They want that freedom. They want that time. Me and you are just trying our hardest to do something about it. That's what when I talk to people, which we don't talk to very many people about it. We stay pretty, to ourselves. But that's what I would say, is that, we're trying to do something about it. I'm not promising you it's going to work, but I do promise you that I'll give it everything I got. So that's why you see, hopefully you can feel the passion through the camera. You can feel that we actually love this, and it's a lot of fun. And, we're kind of talking about inspiration. Like, my dad, like, my dream is to buy my dad an F450. Like, if we ever got to that point, like, before we got a house, before we got anything, like, the first thing I would buy is my dad a Ford F450. I don't know why he wants one. He doesn't even need one. Like, that would be my dream, right? To buy my dad that. And, my dad's the greatest dude I've ever met. So that makes me want to do it too. Of course, if we talk about inspiration, like, in a different sense, like, who inspires us to do this? I mean, dude, there's a bunch of YouTubers out there that are, like, really cool that, we love watching Joshua Wiseman. I love watching Nick DiGiovanni. I like watching Guga a lot. And of course, like, you know, Meat Church, Swine Life, of course, Malcolm Reed, How to Barbecue Right, like the GOAT, the dude's the GOAT.
The original.
The original. Like, if it wasn't, my honest opinion is if it was not for Malcolm Reed,
For his videos, yeah.
there would probably be, I mean, I'm sure barbecue influencers would come around. Like, he 100% made it a thing. He's the
The
absolute,
blueprint for
the blueprint,
YouTube barbecue.
the blueprint 100%, just putting out killer barbecue content years ago, 14 years ago, I believe he started, like,
When you
just,
think about how much it's changed since, we first started
yeah.
getting into barbecue.
Mhm.
Those are the videos we were watching to
Yeah.
see, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you think about it now, there's so many food creators.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, maybe not every single one of them, but I would still, like, I hold him in, I put him up there, like, with the Mount Rushmore of, like, barbecue YouTubers because he's the original, he's the GOAT. Like,
He stuck it through
yeah,
so that everybody else can now do
yeah, for
what
sure.
they're trying to do.
I mean, we were even watching a podcast one time, at the How to Barbecue Right podcast, and even his wife was like, dude, you changed the game.
Right.
And we both literally looked at each other, like, almost simultaneously, and we're like, she's right.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for her, I don't think we would be doing this. I'm sorry, for him. I mean, and her too. I don't think we would be doing this. Because he made it look like, dude, this is awesome. Like, this is
Right.
cool. Like, this guy's just,
Or you just wouldn't think it was a possibility, right?
For
If no one else was doing this,
for
it's
sure.
like, how is it possible?
I mean, last year we went and visited their facilities in Mississippi, and, like, it was weird because I remember coming back to the hotel that day, and, like, what you would think I was so motivated, I came and I was like, just, like, demotivated. I don't know what the word is. I was like, dude, there's no way we could ever do this. Like, this guy is insane. The sickest facilities, the sickest podcast setup, the sickest office space, kitchen, all sorts of products. Like,
With
it's amazing.
everything that we've ever done, it's felt like that, right? Like
Yeah.
making a seasoning. How the heck are we gonna
can't do it.
make
We
our
can't do it.
seasoning? Like, what do you
Yeah.
have to do to even do that?
Yeah.
And with the YouTube channel, it's like, we don't edit.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
we
Yeah.
we don't film.
Yeah, we don't have cameras. We don't know what cameras, but
Yeah.
I mean,
You start and then you get into it and you learn, and then it's like,
for sure. And then, flip it to now, we're affiliated with Killer Hogs.
Mhm.
We're affiliated with How to Barbecue Right. We use their products all the time in our videos. Like, we're one of their ambassadors, and it's crazy. It comes
and like
full circle.
Weber. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, like that day that we got that, was it a DM or email or something?
yeah.
I freaked out. Like, I sent you the message, and I was like, dude, Weber actually wants to work with us. Like, there's no way. Because we've been using a Weber kettle from the beginning, and
Right.
we promoted them for free for years.
Just because we wanted
Just
to.
because we
look
wanted
at
to, like,
products, yeah.
Yeah, the products are, I mean, I could say it's on blue in the face. I love my Weber kettle. I love my Weber Smoky Mountain. We're about to film on our Weber Smoky Mountain tomorrow. Just great products, just killer stuff. And, again, like, those are the things that motivate me, inspire me to, keep creating content at hopefully a high level. I hope people think we created at a high level. If not, I mean,
I think one of the biggest differences between us and a lot of successful YouTubers is, I mean, we don't have a custom kitchen and outdoor space and
Yeah.
the best lighting and the best cameras. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the good thing is we know where we need to improve a lot of
Yeah.
the times. And
I mean, I will say this though, like, also shout out to them. They didn't always have that.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, you go look back. We just talked about Malcolm's video that I loved. Today we're talking spare ribs. Like, there was no good lighting in that video.
mm-hmm.
There was no good. I mean, the camera might have been okay. I don't know. But nothing compared to what he has now. He's got a smoke shack now. I mean, he didn't start where he is now. It took a long time.
Right.
And it's the same for all those guys. I mean, maybe a few of them started at a high level and just kept growing from there. Like Nick DiGiovanni, I would say, like, when he started, he was already pretty good. But even from there, like, from what he was now, or then to now, is insane. I mean, look at his quality. Look at the way he talks. Look at the way he is on camera. His camera presence is insane. But yeah, I mean, where the biggest inspiration for us is our kids. I think for me, I want my kids to be able to come to me and say, Dad, I want to make the best pen in the world.
Right.
You know, I want to make the best pen in the world, Dad. Okay.
Or like Penelope loves to dance, and
Yeah.
to be able to do something with that.
Yeah.
You know, that's like one of the main reasons I never pursued, you know, baking is because I'm like, what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah.
You know, I could have a storefront, but it's like, you know, then I have to find people I trust to help me make that a reality. And it's just like, what can I do with that, right? And I think
sure.
YouTube it is a very great place for people who love to cook. Food is one of the biggest things, I think, as far as content
ever. For sure. And there's so many good cooks out there. There's so many people that, you know, they put out such good food content. It's insane. I love seeing it. But, you know, kind of like I was saying, I want the kids to be able to do whatever they want.
Right.
You know, within reason, obviously. But if they come to us and say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, I want to be a dancer. I want to teach young children how to dance on YouTube." Okay? That's amazing. That's fine. Like, write out a business plan. Show me what you're going to do on a daily basis, and let's make it happen. I'll help you. I'll help you every step of the way. I'll tell you everything I know. I'll support you financially as best I can.
Even if it's not with
Yeah.
YouTube,
For sure.
Sort of
I don't even think, in my opinion, like, our kids, I don't think they're going to want to do that. But like I said, like, if Penelope comes and says, Dad, I have this idea for this pen, and I know a pen that'll never run out of ink, and it's always going to write perfectly. I know it's going to work, Dad. Okay? Tell me your plan. How much is it going to cost? Let's get it done. I want them to know that Mom and Dad went and tried something. They made it work. Our lives are good. I can do it too. That's what I want. I want our kids to know that. And that's my biggest inspiration, motivation, is those kids. I want them to know, hey, don't let anything hold you back. You know, there's, as cliche as it sounds, we got one shot, right? We got one shot at life. Make it as good as you possibly can. And I think they will. I really do. I think our kids are bright. You do a great job of raising them, and I don't know. I really, that's my biggest thing. I want them to know. And plus, I ain't going to sit here and lie. I have a dang good time. I love going to barbecue competitions. I love hearing that first place ribs. It's a rush. It's a rush.
the kids love it too.
Oh, yeah. And
Penelope the other day, only 6th place?
Yeah, I know.
Shoot, we didn't get a chicken call, so that's better than anything.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Trust me, kiddo, we wish we got first, but hey, it's just not the way it goes every time. Yeah, to move on to the next thing, and we'll start wrapping this up. We're going to try and keep these around an hour, right? That's our goal. The one thing I will ask everybody in the comments, if you guys have anybody that you want to see on the podcast, you have to let us know. And you also, please be realistic. I don't think we're going to get Elon Musk or anything like that. So just let us know in the comments who you'd like to see. I have a little wish list of people I want on the podcast. So you can tell me yours, I'll tell you mine. So I'll start. So my wish list for the podcast right now would be LC Barbecue, Chicken Fried Barbecue, My Pits Are Burning, Malcolm Reed, Swine Life Barbecue, and let me see. I wrote it down. Oh, as crazy as it sounds, I really want to interview Rochelle Reed, Malcolm's wife.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I want to interview her, and I would love to have her on the podcast, and I'm talking completely separate from Malcolm, completely separately. Like, I don't want them both at the same time. I would love to just talk to her because, I think she's kind of exactly like you. Not exactly like you, but I think she does a lot in the background that maybe people don't know about.
Right.
And I would like to maybe hear a little bit more about what she does.
Well, I'm sure she's extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah, 100%. Even when we did go visit over there last year, I remember walking into the office and Mark was kind of like introducing me to everybody, and she was like walking around talking to this person, talking to that person, talking to somebody else. and I just know she's super involved, and I would really like to not even pick her brain, but just ask her like, hey, how is a day in the life for you when it comes to how to barbecue right, when it comes to killer hogs, because I'm pretty sure she filmed and edited at one point. I do not know if she still does that, but I would just love to hear what she's got to say, and I would love to talk to Rochelle Reed. I don't know why, but like when
I think that's a good one for sure.
I think whenever we first started talking about like, hey, we're actually gonna do the podcast, that was like one of my first ones. I was like, dude, I think it'd be great to have her on because I really think that she would have some insight like
Right.
another. But anyway, I mean, do you have any people that you would like to have on?
I don't
think-
know anybody.
Yeah. I think also like I've thought about it, right? Like Postal Barbecue.
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah, like Texas Made Smokers used to be Aim 'em and Claim 'em. Oh, they create content as well. They're in the space. I'd like to talk to them. Tennessee Mojo, I would like to talk
Yeah.
to him. Smoking Joe's.
I think other people who are kind of in the same
Yeah.
kind of work as us, and then
Yeah.
especially the competition people.
For sure. And that's why I want to talk to LC and Chicken Fried and My Pits Are Burning. I wouldn't say I know them all well. I know them. I talk to them. And like LC, for example, like he was Cook of the Year last year, and he's in a race right now with Kevin, My Pits Are Burning, and it's coming down to the wire. Like they're changing 1 and 2 every other week, every 2 weeks. And for Phil, if he was to get a back-to-back, like that's insane. He's such a good and consistent cook. I feel like every time, I mean, the first competition we went to, he was at, he RGC'd, and Kevin GC'd.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. But yeah, I mean,
Oh, he's done well at every single competition we've been to.
every single one.
Had him. Yeah.
Every single one. I'm like, dude, this guy is so consistent. Like, how does he do this? I want to just go. I just want to go like, I'm not even going to cook today. I'm just going to sit with Phil all day.
And we've said
See
so
what he
many
does.
times we need to just go and be a judge
Yeah.
at
we
these
never.
competitions out there. Yeah, because it's way more fun to compete.
Yeah, it's way more fun to compete. And that's probably where we've, I don't want to say gone wrong, but we've never judged. So we don't really know what they're looking for. But
Right.
again, if it comes to, hey, you can go to this to compete or to judge, I'm sorry. 10 times out of 10, I'm going to compete.
Yeah.
I'll
I'd rather
figure
get my butt kicked and at least try and compete and
one of
possibly win.
these days I'll figure out what the judges want. So then I'm going to keep making what I think is a good barbecue. That's the thing. I've never turned in anything that I did not like, that I thought was just horrible. Now, there have been things that I'm like, that could have tasted a little bit better, but never have we ever done anything where I'm like, that was awful.
Right.
That was awful. Never. So it's so subjective. Try and make something that everybody can enjoy a little bit. But I mean, yeah, so those are my people that I would like to talk to. I think we can make some of them happen. I think maybe I could get Mark on here pretty soon. We'll see. We'll have to figure that out. Really, this episode was to kind of get to know us a little bit more. If you guys don't know who we are, if you guys don't know what we do, if this is the first time you're ever seeing a video of ours, I mean, you might not know we make YouTube videos. You might not know we make barbecue videos. We compete, all that stuff. We have products. We have kids, whatever. But, I mean, yeah, that's really the focus of this main.
And so real quick, let's talk about the name of our podcast.
Yeah. So, man, I've told plenty of my friends this. You know this. I wanted a podcast far before I ever wanted to do any sort of channel.
Right.
So,
The name and everything had been planned for a while.
I mean, years and years. I've had this name in my head, and like I've always told you, I'm sorry. This has to be the name. There's no other name it can be, no matter what. Like, I'm sorry, you can't change my mind. You can't. There's nothing you can do. It's got to be All Things Everything. And because I do want to talk about a lot of different things, I want to talk about. I mean, we talked about our kids today. I want to talk to people, hopefully, about like small business. We can talk about, like I talked to you guys earlier. I love the San Antonio Spurs. We got Victor Wembanyama this year. I don't like when people say we, but I just said we. The Spurs got Victor Wembanyama this year. Like, how is he going to make an impact on that team? the team had championship aspirations for so long, and now we're just trash. It has been hard, right? Because you know better than anybody. I care way too much about the Spurs. Way too much. We won't tell all the stories, but like we have some crazy stories when it comes to the Spurs. In 2013, when they lost, it was bad. Like, I cried. I broke my glasses. Like, I broke my headset. Like,
Oh man, I remember that. Yeah.
it was bad. Like, and that's, I'm a 23-year-old dude and like just can't keep my emotions together. I'm way better now. Like
Yes.
the past 3-4 years, like I've actually chilled out a lot. I think it's because they sucked so bad. I'm like, it's okay.
See, that's what happens when they're not doing
We're
well.
just trash now. But it's okay. Hey, what would be epic is if this podcast got big enough, we can get like Keldon Johnson on here or something. Imagine that. Oh, you know who would be a good one? Jason Minix.
Oh yes.
Jason Minix. Hopefully he watches this episode. Jason, if you're ever interested, man, that would be good.
Yeah.
Jason Minix, a good buddy of mine, works for ESPN San Antonio. He's a talk show host.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's just, honestly, I owe that dude a lot. He's an amazing, amazing person. But All Things Everything is just allowing us to talk about all things everything.
Right.
There's nothing that is a for sure we have to talk about it on this episode. And I don't want people to think it's only going to be barbecue. Yes, it's going to be mostly barbecue for sure. But I want to talk about everything. When the NFL draft comes up, I want to talk to some people about the NFL draft. Like, who's your favorite team? How do you think they're going to do this year? The Spurs, like, how are they going to do this year? High school football in the area, high school basketball in the area, like, everything. Pokemon cards. Hey, there's a new set out. Did you get any good pulls? I don't know. Just, I don't want there to be any limitations on what we can do here.
Right.
And that's my biggest thing.
I think that kind of just goes with the type of people we are. I mean, barbecue is real big to us, but I mean,
Yeah.
nothing's like off limits.
Nothing. Yeah, I mean,
to what we want to do.
there's probably a lot of people that have no idea that back in the day I used to be into professional gaming.
Right.
Right? I mean, like,
That would be a good segment.
yeah, I mean, it's at one point, I mean, just you were dating me throughout the whole thing. Like, my life was wild.
That's why it's so funny to think of like
Yeah.
where we're at now. Like, how did we get to barbecue?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there was months where every single weekend, like, I was leaving.
Mhm.
I'd be in Florida, I'd be in California, I'd be in North Carolina, I'd be in North Texas, I'd be in Virginia, like,
Right.
random places. Like, we were sponsored by Red Bull, like, wild times in my life, really cool stuff. And yeah, we're here now. And this is exactly where I want to be, for sure. And I think, like I said, we're just gonna keep going. But I mean, I think that pretty much, for me, that wraps up kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Do you have anything else that you wanted to hit? That you wanted to cover?
No, I think I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully people can understand how we got here and
Yeah. And I mean, if there's anything people want to know, they can ask us in the comments.
ask us in the comments.
If there's anything specifically you want us to cover in an episode, ask us in the comments, and we'll do everything we can to try and make that happen.
Yeah, we would love to do if we did a live podcast
Yeah,
and
for sure.
answered questions
Yeah.
as we go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the last thing, again, what I'll say is this podcast is, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I mean, again, give us suggestions. We're open to all the suggestions in the world. That's one thing about us. We try and read every comment. We try and reply to every comment, unless they're mean, which we're kind of getting a little bit more
Unless
mean
they're
ones.
about your accent.
I know, unless they're about my accent. I'm like, dude,
Go easy on us.
I know, right? But yeah, I mean, thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for getting us to this point. I mean, if it wasn't for almost 30,000 of you subscribing to the channel, I promise you we would not be doing this.
Right.
We would not have invested, into the podcast equipment and all that stuff. But we're extremely happy to be here. We love doing this, and we hope you guys are enjoying everything that we're doing. So don't forget, one of my biggest goals for this is for you guys to know a little bit more about Sabrina and what she does. We can talk about that maybe a little bit more on the next podcast, exactly what you do. I know I covered it, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't have any cool past stories about
yeah,
gaming in exciting places, but
no, I mean,
life
it's
is pretty eventful right now with the kids. So
for sure with the kids. And then, like I said, competing, editing. Like I said, we got to wake up early tomorrow and start a brisket and make a video. And, you know, it is what it is. But,
and we'll be up until 2 a.m. because
yeah,
our son's taking a nap
yeah.
in the middle of the
And
day.
I'm on vacation right now. Every single time I go on vacation, I ruin our sleep schedule like literally a day in, because I'm used to waking up at 5:30 in the morning every day for work,
Mm-hmm.
and we go to bed early because I have to wake up early. But now I'm like, nah, I'm gonna take a nap in the middle of the day, on purpose, so I could stay up late. And then like we woke up at 10:30 today, and I was like, I love it. I love it. I wish we could have slept till 12, but you know, like I said, we rarely get to do that. I mean,
Right.
we're up at 6 every day.
Yeah.
I mean, even on weekends and stuff. So, and tomorrow we'll be up that early too, smoking a brisket. So, well, I mean, that's a wrap for, I would say, episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we're gonna do the same outro that we did or that we do in our videos, right? As always,
We'll have to think of something.
we'll think of something. But for now, you know, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We're gonna hopefully find a way to put this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing, but
Yeah, we have no idea.
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it all out. I'm gonna call Tyler, TikTok Tyler, my buddy. He'll help me out. At least I think so. Tyler, if you're watching this, I'm probably talking to you right now about how to get this on
Right.
Apple and Spotify and everything. But we appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.